What's going on, Rad Dads? So I just wanted to jump on here. Thanks for the intro, Steve, there. So restoration techniques, big part of my practice, big part of practice with the community and my clientele. And then when you were speaking about a challenge like the Murph, in which you are, for some of us, we weren't doing any type of training. Now we're picking up the training. We're going to go execute the Murph. For some of us, we do some type of training, but at the end of the day, doing 300 of this, 200 of that, 100 of that, there's a mile, we are going to work the body considerably more than maybe we do in any other given workout. Maybe some of you are used to this. That's fantastic. Get after it. But either way, we need to make sure that we are prepping and restoring so that we don't get too locked up. Okay? Having said that, all right, so just pieces that I would recommend here. First one's the trigger point ball, 5-inch trigger point ball. All right, you can find that on Amazon fairly cheap there. I would recommend trigger point, really good for getting into some of the nitty gritty tissue that gets locked up. And then from there, just working through your foam rollers. All right, if you don't have those, I recommend going more of the dense. All right, more of the dense so you can hear. All right, more of the dense foam rollers. All right, if it's too soft, then it's only going to have minimal impact or minimal influence, right? And then after that, you can just kind of look into things. I have a cane. The cane is really helpful for getting back into the shoulder blades, especially considering you're going to be doing pull-ups and push-ups. Those shoulder blades, that chest tissue is going to take get some nice work there. All right, so I would recommend as a starting point those pieces. Some people have the lacrosse balls. Those are really helpful for calves, bottom of the foot, for the plantar fascia, things like that. Do it. Do whatever you feel is right there, whatever your body is speaking to. Try and work through that, okay? So having said that, all right, one thing I want to just show off here for you guys is the thoracic spine, okay? Like I just mentioned, you have pull-ups, you have push-ups, and then the squats, you're looking for integrity of the spine, right? So a lot of times when we think about the squat, you see the collapse of the spine, right, as the butt shoots back, right? That usually speaks to overworked tissue throughout the spine, feeding the lower back, feeding the core, feeding the hips, right? Or vice versa, maybe it's feet feeding calves, feeding legs, feeding hips, and then up the chain, right? We want to somewhat address that, especially with all the work going in through the upper body already. So thoracic spine, all right, I recommend the 36-inch foam roller. All right, drop it down to the very front of that foam roller. All right, try and line up your tailbone with that. And then from there, you're just gonna lay straight back, okay? Feet flat to the ground, about shoulder width apart. And I want you to try and decompress the cervical spine here. So sometimes we kind of have this arched head, all right? I want you to try and create that flat cervical. I call it tucking the chin here, okay? Now you may be tempted, you may try and tuck the chin and the head starts to rise off. I want you to keep the head firm and tuck the chin best to your ability there, okay? From that position, we're gonna start with the sagittal plane. Hands are gonna go straight up into the air, and I want you to emphasize the reach up and then reaching those hands back, okay? I like to lead with the thumb, so I got my thumb pointing the way, and I'm going to work that. Keep in mind as you're working through any type of foam rolling or restoration, having an awareness around your breath is fairly important because you want to be distributing, all right, that breath, as opposed to sometimes it's more of a panic breath. Sometimes we actually hold the breath. I want you to just have nice breath as you're working this, okay? Just like so. So again, sagittal plane is reaching up as high as you can, reaching back as far as you can, all right? And just take it to where your body is speaking to, all right? Sometimes, you may watch this video of me and you think that you need to go down and touch the ground. Your body may not allow you to do that, so do what your body is speaking to, please, okay? Now from there, we're gonna go frontal plane. So the frontal plane, if I started here, I'm gonna bring the arms out to the side there, okay? Just like so, kind of think of like the field goal posts on the football field. And there we're just going to drop right elbow toward the right hip as the left goes high, and then vice versa. So now think of a seesaw. Seesaw, just left to right there. All right, just like so. Okay. Easy peasy. And then last but not least, I call this the rope climb. We're going to drop the right hand down or the right elbow to the ground as I intentionally reach the left hand as high as I can go, and then I'm going to switch that there. All right, so now you're almost going to slightly roll from left to right on the foam roller here. Okay, you're going to feel this kind of creep into either side of the spine just to help free up some tissue. All right, my recommendation is go anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds in each one of those. So your sagittal, your frontal, and your transverse plane, spend about 60 to 90 seconds in each one. And as a rule of thumb, some people lay down and they're like, wow, this kind of hurts, or this is intense. If you have tissue that is dehydrated or lacking blood flow, you are going to feel it a lot, okay? If you are someone who is taking really good care of yourself in terms of hydration, stretching, foam rolling, maybe you're one of these that's doing the sauna, the cold plunge, the whole 9 yards, okay, you're less likely to feel it, just straight up there. If you're someone who's working at a desk throughout the day, you're probably going to feel this, right? If you're someone who is actively with kids, constantly picking them up, maybe you got a big family or just 1 or 2 kids or whatever it is, maybe you're walking the dog and you're always with one arm extended, you're most likely going to feel these, okay? So having said that, all right, let your body speak to you. I try and relay this to my clientele in terms of try not to ignore any of the signs or symptoms. If you lay down on the foam roller or the trigger point ball and you're getting, like if you have a pain scale and you're getting anywhere from an 8 to 10 on that pain scale where your body's saying like, holy, this is intense, back off. Okay, back off. Don't force yourself to go through this experience if your body is telling you to back off. Okay, that's a huge kind of misinformation or miscommunication there between how people portray restoration and what's actually happening in your body, right? If you want the nervous system to be accepting of the experience and help you shift, you need to listen to it. If you just force your way through, you're going to destroy it, straight up. Okay. All right, having said that, that's thoracic spine. And then I would recommend just like pieces to add in because we're going to be running. Hit the plantar fascia. Hit the calves. Hit the deeper calf, which is the soleus. Definitely hit the hamstrings and hit the hip flexors. So I'm just going to run through these real quick. All right, so you could sit down, like let's say you have a chair, an office chair. Maybe you're watching some playoff hockey. Maybe you're watching Everton escape relegation. All right. You got 1 foot on the trigger point ball, and I'm just going to explore the area. So I'm just slight rotations, exploring the area. Okay, we're working through the plantar fascia here. All right. Now, if you're working through this and you feel a spot, I call it feeling a tender spot, stay there. Give it the time. All right, about 60 seconds. All right, work through the right foot. Work through the left foot. If you're doing this and you're like, dude, I don't feel anything. All right, stand up and do it. Pull more body weight onto that leg, okay? Because now it just totally transformed that experience, right? Right side, left side. Awesome. From the plantar fascia, take it up to the calves. So sit down, all right? Choose the leg. Again, right leg is on the calf. And I'm just going to work through it. I'm going to explore the area. You will most likely feel tender places here. Don't run from it. Just let it be. Again, if you're hitting 8 to 10 on your pain scale, back off. Pick a new area. And then slowly work your way back to it if you feel like it's starting to ease up. Because that's what should be happening. After about 60 to 90 seconds of any given foam staying, it should start to ease the experience. If it's not, you got to back off. We got to start somewhere different, okay? All right. Now, one thing I do recommend when you're working through the calves here, let's say I find it, okay, so right now I'm on a tender spot. Been doing a lot of barefoot running lately. I'm on this tender spot. I'm actually going to contract and then lengthen the calf here, okay? So I'm pointing my toes, which is shortening my calf tissue. Okay, that's where it bundles up, and then I'm going to pull my toes to me, which is lengthening or stretching the calf tissue. Okay, I want to do that while I'm on the tender spot there, so that as my tissue is freeing up, it's also learning the correct path or response of that calf, right? We're teaching new motion, or we're teaching more efficient motion. Okay, so work through the calf. I'll try and kind of turn the leg, get to the outside of the calf, get the inside of the calf, see what shows up. Take it up into the hamstring, so just cross right over the knee. Please don't sit right behind the knee. There's some nerves there, there's a pocket there. You just don't want to compress that too much. Okay, work it into the hamstring. All right, same thing. Okay, let the body talk to you. Get some of the inside hamstring, get some of the outside hamstring. Work from hamstring, keep following up to your ischial tuberosity, which is your sit bone. All right, once you're on your sit bone there, that's where the hamstrings connect. Check that area. All right, I got some sensitive stuff there right now. I can feel it. Okay, you can bend the opposite leg, get some little rotation in there. Maybe you want to start feeding it into the glute. So I'm going to go side butt now. Right, you can do that. And then, like I said, last but not least, probably the last two, no, I shouldn't say last two, but two of the most important, especially considering squatting and running, are going to be your hip flexors and your adductors. All right. So I'm going to lay down. So I want to find the ASIS. It's your hip bone. You can bang on it and it's just dull, right? It's a thud. That's where you want to start. Once you're there, you're just going to work slightly down and you're going to drop slightly inside. Okay? So I'm going to lay down. I'm on my ASIS. All right? I'm compressing in and I'm just going to kind of explore that area, working slightly down, slightly inside. You will absolutely get some feedback here. Give it the time. And then last but not least, all right, like a male dog going to pee, you're going to lift up that leg, drop the ball inside that knee, and start to work toward your groin there. Okay, so I'm going inside toward the groin, explore the area. My experience is most people will have some tender tissue right near the knee here, and it will travel toward the groin. So what you can do, once you find the spot, begin to extend the leg like you're running in stride, and then bring it back. And that experience should get significantly amplified. All right, right side, left side. So that's running through plantar fascia, calves, hamstrings, a little bit of side butt or your glute, and then adductors and hip flexors, and then working through your upper body, thoracic spine. All right, that's a great starting point. In terms of how often, all right, in terms of how often you could be doing that, my recommendation is after each one of your sessions, each one of your training sessions. If that's not possible, at least once or twice a week. Okay, at least once or twice a week for the month of May, and then you can make it a permanent practice for the rest of your life, because that's how the body works. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. I can throw up little tidbits here and there. I know this one was a little bit longer video. Hopefully you work all the way through, but let's get after it. All right, Rad Dads, good stuff.